Welcome to MotoGP Mac. We have Corey today from New York. Yes, Mr. Experience with his BMW S1000RR, smoking piece of, beautiful bike, man. Beautiful.
Her
bike.
name's Selena.
So, and it has a nice name, Selena, too.
Yeah, thank you.
I named my RS250 Lola.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's Italian, right? And like,
Lola.
When I was growing up, the only Italian porn star that I knew was Lola Ferrari. So it's like, we'll just cover her.
There you go.
So look, welcome, Corey. And look, it was great to catch up with you on Instagram. Was actually how this all came about.
Yep.
So just for people to know, there is a MotoGP Mac Instagram where you can reach out if you...
Which Mac does check and reply, and he's like a normal human being. Yeah. And it does feel amazing when he hits you back. When you message back, it's like, It's awesome. It's awesome.
Very good. So I'm also very jealous, Corey, because you do live near one of... And I'm going to shock the world a small bit in this, right? So... one of my holy grail places that I've been to New York, I'd say about 10 times and never got across the river to it, is Gasoline Alley.
Gasoline Alley.
Indian Larry in Gasoline Alley.
Oh, shit, in Brooklyn. Yep.
Yeah, so I never got across to it, but I want to. And secretly, right, Jake mocks me about the spokes, but when I do retire, I am going to build a chopper.
Nice.
In the style of Indian Larry. So
just don't ride like that.
I'm not going to stand on the back of the bike and do tricks. But it is one of my dreams that I'm actually going to build a hardcore. No, listen, right? You can't fucking ride it in Ireland here because you'd be flat.
You'd probably break your tail
within a mile, and then your back, or else your back would be broken.
Without doubt. Yeah, those hardtails are not.
But it's race week, lads. Cool. Finally, the drought is going to go.
What a screw up, don't you think?
It is an absolute killer of nothing happening for so long. And then everything happens. And I actually have something to say, as well. So
say it, Mac.
I made a balls when I booked my holidays, right? So I'm going on holidays on Tuesday. Now I have all my contents done up to Thursday. So because I can't do anything for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday because I don't know the fucking results of the races.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We will do the podcast, Jake. I will be in a place called Portugal or Albufeira.
You love your Portugal.
I do. So getting some sunshine on my old titties and scaring the shit out of people at the side of the pool. So maybe next week I might just do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Be my first time ever now, so it would be like first time ever not putting out a video.
Right.
So I don't know. Look, I might get the itch. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was just about to say that. You're probably going to be like,
So if I do put out a video next week, you can say fair play.
Be extra grateful for it.
If I don't, you can say fair play to you that you didn't chicken out. Let's wait and see. But so I plan to take. Because I was going to try and do some kind of videos that would just hold people over, and then I was like, something that's not put shit out there. There's enough.
Don't water it down.
With
clickbait thumbnails, AI generated bullshit. Yeah.
So
we're not the only ones, folks.
No.
That MotoGP net or whatever the fuck it's news.
I'm not even gonna say the name of their channel to even help at all because the clickbait, and then once my son told me that because he could hear it, once he told me that was AI generated, commentary. That's why sometimes the thumbnails, and then you'll listen to the video and they're like bouncing all over the place. All of a sudden they're talking about the Calyx chassis. Then they're talking about him in Moto 3, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Nothing adds up. But so and I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this. Being a fan of the MotoGP Mac channel, not only this, but the one other channel where it's somebody kind of putting some work in. I don't mind mentioning that channel name is Moto World.
Yeah.
That's the only ones. Besides that, everything.
I think his name is Dylan Shelley, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dylan
Nice
Shelley.
guy.
Yeah. I actually listened to him for Formula One. Actually, he's quite.
Oh, he's a good like cliff. We call it cliff notes. Like a summary of what went out. He does very without a doubt. But everybody else, I get this. Yeah.
Race week. One of my, I would call, least favorite tracks, if I'm very honest.
Oh, that's hilarious! You being Irish and you saying that. That's fucking funny.
No, that was my granddaddy's war. Unfortunately, I don't get involved.
Oh shit!
Anymore. But no. Look, I don't take any offense, but like Silverstone for me, fans are too far from the track.
It's very posh setting too. From what
it's a shit ring, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I've been to Silverstone a good few times for Formula One, and I went to watch MotoGP, but like the track itself is just too big,
too far from the grandstands and everything. Right?
Yeah, but the crowd it pulls, it might only get 40,000 people there, maybe 50,000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That place easily can hold 150,000.
Right,
easily,
without a doubt. Yeah.
But the track is just too spread out. There are some nice corners. There are some fucking stupid corners, like you have, and then you have like the long lap penalty, which is actually not a penalty.
Right.
Fabio lost like 2.5-3 seconds there the last time. You know what I mean? It's just look, it's not my favorite track. It's definitely not Alicia Spagarow's favorite track either after last year's hindsight, which he launched himself. I actually don't believe he's recovered fully from that still.
Absolutely not. No.
And I know I talk about the fear an awful lot in riders, but I think
fuck the fear, the memory of when you, like, I try to tell people all the time, it'll be 100 degrees and I have my jacket on and I'm like, 60 degrees or 100 degrees, my skin's still going to be like cheese on the fucking ground. You know what I mean? Remember that,
If you never, sweat's better than blood.
Hell yeah. But you're right, Mac. No, without a doubt, he's got a little bit of PTSD going on.
Yeah,
because we saw what he did at Assen last year, right? He was pissed, and he got it in. Right now, this is getting in the way. Without a doubt.
I definitely do think so. And anyone out there, right, that does ride daily or whatever, right, definitely check out the Tech Air and the D-Air systems.
Oh, please. Yep.
They're absolutely phenomenal, and you don't.
And I'll be honest, as another biker, right, like or whatever we call ourselves, when you see somebody that has their gear on, right, they're not playing around, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for people that think they might look funny or whatever, no, I think you get a lot more respect wearing gear.
The very funny one is that it used to take me longer to gear up than get to work. And people ask me, "Why do you do it?" And I was like, I'll bring a GoPro with me and you'll understand.
Right, exactly.
And then I show them and they're like, okay. You shouldn't get to work that fast. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I told you. And B, we can understand why now it takes you less time to come to work than to gear up. But when you crash, that sudden stop. Let's have the best on you that anyone can have.
Yeah, without doubt.
Your gear is more important than your helmet. People don't believe that. They think everything's about the helmet. Not that I'm against helmets by any means.
Right, correct. Yeah, but 6 weeks after crashing, it's going to be your skin that's still if you don't gear up.
Or your chest. People get hit by a car and they get crushed against their chest gets crushed against the car.
Yeah,
that kills them.
Now I'll be honest. Without brand placement going on, I have a certain jacket that all you have to do is put the airbag in, so you don't. So when you see, for other people, when you go to buy the shit, just because it says the airbag thing doesn't mean you're spending $1,000. You know what I mean? Like they'll get the jacket, and then but I don't know if these guys. I mean, we see what we do. We see what they do being fans when we watch on TV when they slide and whatever. So why would you not? And plus, what it does in your head when you're strapping up and I'm throwing it, me personally growing up on dirt bikes and everything, right? When we went riding, right? Like my whole, I wouldn't know how to function without at least gloves and a firm footwear,
Yeah.
Because and I've broken my ankle at a motocross track 3 times. each time I did not stop riding, and I just thought maybe it was like, I don't know, whatever, till you pop the boot off and you're like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah, I can't believe
So like, if you want to look, you know, but yeah, and I think for other people too is like, because I think a lot, because a certain channel said that this year there's been more motorcycle deaths since the last highest one, which was in the 70s. And I guess they attribute to that to a lot of people drinking, getting on their bikes, whatever.
Yeah,
but I know for me, yeah, it was another motorcycler saying it, and he's actually really good with like beginners, like the way he talks, it's very inviting, whatever. But the other thing that like I wish I could tell people is if I have any slight feeling in my stomach that's a little off, like, you know, because this is not a transportation tool for me.
Right. Okay.
It's not.
Right.
It's not. You know what I mean? It's not. I get it in. Get off the bike. Get it in. Get off the bike. If I have any, like even today, I was like, watch my luck. The day before my first whatever, I'm going to be smeared across the truck. I was like, no, just leave it down. You know what I mean? Because and whether you're on a 700, a 250, whatever, dude, you know, still right. You know, let's just think about it. Half a second, and bam, that's it.
It's actually very funny that you bring that up. Like, so it's kind of like a superstition, really, or a feeling that you're like, it doesn't feel right. I'm not going to do it.
No.
Do you have any superstitions or tricks, Jake? Do you do before you get on the bike?
No, I don't. I just
gear up though, right? Every time, right? Jacket.
Yeah, heat her up.
Yeah,
just get up, go out. Yeah. I make sure the tires are hot. That's my biggest thing.
Before you start getting
Before I get hot and heavy into it. Yeah, because I don't know how many times you guys jumped on it and all of a sudden the tires slide out from under you.
Yeah, so do that on purpose sometimes.
So look, I'm a little bit of a freak, right? So I have to get on the bike from the left side. I have to put my hands together like this before I get on the bike, and then when I get on the bike before I start it, I have to clap my hands 3 times, and off I go then. So that's my ritual. So like I don't have the feeling of so should I not take the bike because like
that blocks out all worry you doing your little
because I live in Ireland, right, and like I'll shit you not, I came through a tunnel one time. I can't say the speed because it's actually going to go don't. But I was higher than fourth gear, right, coming through a tunnel, and I did see grey clouds when I was going into the tunnel and came out of it, and it was hailstones.
Ah, yes.
And I mean like 2 inches thick on the ground, hailstones.
No.
So you can't touch the brakes, can you?
No. You can't even downshift too quick.
So
dude.
all I could do was ride up behind another car, and literally on his bumper because his wheel tracks were making space for me. And so I was slowing down by dragging my feet on the ground.
Wow.
And I made it to work, right? And they were all like, Jesus Christ almighty, how did you
get here? Yeah.
And then that was fine. About 10 minutes before I was due to gear up, which takes me about 10 or 15 minutes, I came out and it was fucking snowing. And I'll send you I have a picture of when I got off, but I rode home in the snow.
Right.
And everyone was like, just leave it here. We'll get you a taxi. I'm like,
no, because then you won't sleep at home because your bike's not with you.
By the time I got out of like my work's driveway, my hands were already gone. And this is why I don't like your comment a while ago about heated grips. You know, you're supposed to suffer.
Yeah. You got to earn it.
So riding in the snow, putting my hand in the top of the engine, each hand, to try and heat the fucking thing up. Like, but look, it was brilliant. Anyway, back to MotoGP.
I just visualized that whole thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
You ever had it so cold your hands, your fingers won't work, and you claw for the clutch?
Yes. I've had my fingers just not move. I've had my fingers just not move. Yep.
Yeah. But look, that's what being a biker is in my view.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got to earn that.
This weekend, there's a lot going on, and especially the tire pressures. For me, is probably one of the most stupid fucking rules that they're ever going to bring.
Dude.
Right?
I hope that's just to please some people. So on paper, it's like, yeah, we have a rule. But like at the end of the day, dude, like,
How are you going to do that? It's impossible.
How are you going to race a fucking race and worry about your tire pressure than the fella in front of you?
Let alone the worry that they have while they're even trying to pass and what happens to the tire pressure. Now you're going to stop that window that they have the control in? No, absolutely not. I hope that's just to please people.
And and even more so, the fucking regulations around it aren't very clear. So the regulation around it is...
It's like a 3-strike rule type thing going on with it, right?
I thought that initially, right? But what it says then is that, your tire pressures must be over 1.88 bar for the front and 1.68
What's
bar
that? What's that in pounds? What's that in pounds?
I have no idea.
Sorry.
But, all right. For me, I for at least half of the race is the line within the regulation, and then it's like for the first infringement, it's a warning. Okay. Then it's a 3-second penalty for your second, a 6-second for your third, and 12 seconds for your fourth. But is that like
is that for starting the race below the minimum though, or is it like
we're not
monitoring it during the race?
What is that like? Can you get 4 incidents in the one race?
Yeah.
Or is it like you fuck up with one race and you get a warning, and then the next race
you do it again? Oh shit.
Or is it that you go 4 or 5 times under? Right. Or do they deliver a warning to you during the race, and that if you slip back into it, do you know what I mean? And I'm like sitting there
yes.
Like, and then I'm just like, how is a rider? For me, it's like, okay, let's give the rider something else to worry about. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And what pisses me off, right, is like, I bet you 6 months from now, some poor mechanic's going to get fired because somebody did get you get what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like growing up with a father in the drag racing background, right? Like, knowing your pressures on what's good for you, right? Whether it's that's supposed to be, especially if you're piloting the machine, like how do you have the nerve? I understand, with telling the manufacturer is a thing, but if a kid likes, like I picture Marquez, he probably keeps his pressure ridiculously low. I mean, the kid could fucking ride on an ice cube anyway, but like that's there, because like I know me, right? Like I don't really like above a certain amount in my front tire because if I lose that feel, like I know during the winter time I actually hate it because my pressure will fluctuate a little bit when I'm really riding. Yeah, and like to quote my favorite racer from over on my side of the pond, right? I rather have a bike ride greasy than be unpredictable.
Yeah.
So if you're setting a thing for telling somebody what they can and can't do, like how do you know? You get what I mean? Like, so I really hope that's all just paper pleasing that they're doing that. I hope.
What I want to know is though, you're coming up, and you're behind a rider. Okay, now he's cutting off the air, and all of a sudden they say, "Hey, you're getting too hot." What do? Back off?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a minimum. It's like they're not worried about it going
right. You can only you can only start so low. Yeah,
and like what they're saying is like they're seeing people go at say 1.6 bar in the front rather than 1.8 bar, right?
Right, and those guys probably aren't worried about being behind somebody because they have the room to let the pressure go up, right? Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And what like for me, they've overcomplicated something that doesn't need to be overcomplicated, right? Here's why the grid in World Superbikes, right? Mm-hmm. Every bike has to have a minimum tire starting pressure, right? Which is X.
Right.
Yeah. Before maybe 3 or 4 minutes before they take off, some random dude from the FIM or Dorna or whoever goes around and says, "I'm going to go for you." And they'll go over and they will spot check your bike. And if you fail, you get a penalty there and then.
Right.
That's it. Right. So put the fear of God into them that if your tire pressures or if you're cut.
Or pay the fucking guy off that does that so you don't get picked on each grid, right? Slide a couple dollars in his pocket, you'll be fine.
But look, that will get caught very quickly. But like for me, I just like like there's so many variables in a race. You know, you
Right,
go
right.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
right.
you're the leader, and it's a wet track, right? Your tire is cooling down. You don't have anyone in front of you.
Oh shit! I didn't think about
Same
that.
thing I was saying before. Yeah.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So your tire pressures drop. You're not pushing it, or you. So even in cold track, you know, there's so many variables that could give you a false reading of load that you're going to penalize someone. And I'm just like, listen, simple for me. There's 20 bikes on the grid. Have 5 fellas checking each bike
each time. Yeah, random pick,
randomly, or have 10 guys or whatever it is. What is it? 5 rows. 1 bike per row is going to get picked.
Yeah.
Smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then no
imagine guys purposely aren't getting pole because they don't want to get right. Imagine that.
Exactly, but like, and that's it. And like, if someone's tire pressure fluctuates because of fucking reasons, you know, it's
and this aero stuff is real.
It's going to scare everyone into that you have to have the minimum.
Yes, right. And who knows whose performance that's going to affect, right? Because let's say with this aero thing, right? Like, I know the whole hoopla about it, whatever. You know, Stoner saying like, "Oh, it's turned into Formula One," right?
Stoner complains about everything.
Right? Yeah, but he's supposed to be still fishing right now, so I don't, you know. But what freaks me out is that nobody really knows, besides what we hear from riders, like, oh, you know, my tire pressure was going up when I was behind so-and-so. Like, you don't actually know what goes on in that dirty air. Like, yeah, you put the bike in the wind tunnel, they see the drag, they see the whatever. Like, you know, me being in New York, man, I'm in a valley, so sometimes I get some winds where it's like, if I'm not paying attention, I'm going 2 lanes over. You know what I mean? Who knows what the wind in nature's doing on top of the dirty air behind a bike? Who like
the riders do
by
say,
the way, B Sport.
Yeah, no. What he means, Jake. What he means is that the riders do say after that they do feel buffeting, right? Which is commonplace, right? That's any object moving through the grid when you
any object. There's always you can't take it all away, but it actually lessens it. But anyhow,
they're trying to make it dirtier. No. There is dirty air, but what they're trying to do is reattach the air over the back of the right. So when it hits the rider's helmet, that creates dirty air.
It's right behind the helmet.
And what they're trying to then do is to reattach that to reduce drag.
Yes.
On their bike, and what that will do is that will reduce the how would I say
the air that's hitting the front of their bike, right? So that's why the pressure goes up.
No, it actually tries to reduce the slipstream. However, dirty air and buffeting air, there's still vortexes that will exist because of the shape of the rider, the back of the helmet, all of this stuff. So there is drag there, which allows the other bikes to slipstream. Okay. But what I do believe what the riders do say that behind another bike there's buffeting, right? And like it's just like sticking your hand out the fucking car window when you're driving,
right? And it just slaps back,
and it just slaps back, right? And you turn your hand to the side. But even if after that you would see that there is buffeting, and like I do 100% agree with that. The fact with wings, even on a public road, like if you look at the
new version of my bike has like it. You cannot miss them; they're that big. You know,
it's a Formula One wing in the front of it. Yeah. Literally. But like if you look at the Super Leggera, right, for example, now the really expensive one that has, I think like the 2017 style Ducati side fairings on it, like that must, if you get caught in a crosswind. That must be like a fucking safe.
Because that's the double-decker winged one, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you look at it,
has the triple-decker one. Do you see that with the Ducati? Yeah, that's
like Aero, like Gintoli is developing the 2025 tire, or is it? Yeah, I think it's a 2025 tire now, and that is front tire especially to deal with the aero. Like every layer of tire, and this is one of the things I find very interesting. Michelin are so in the dark with the development of, say, the 2024 Ducati. What's the front download pressures? Right. And it's not because Ducati aren't going to or don't want to share that with them, right? It's because they haven't fucking developed it yet. Right? So like you look at this year's KTM, right? Like all the Red Bull stuff that went on it, right? That was very late to the races, right?
Yeah.
So like the tire is built to a spec of we think there might be 5 kilos of downforce on the tire pushing it in. Next minute it comes to race day and there's 7 kilos.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Those whole shit off. Yeah.
That's running the tire pressures. That's running a lot into the. Mac,
to segue into something else, just in the middle of that, right? That's what I want the maybe say new fans to understand. Like there's things like that go on. That yes, if a bike is brand new, it might not perform incredibly, right? Because only in 2024. So if you get new regs for 24, right? Like just like you said, the not knowing, Michelin not knowing, or it putting down 7 instead of 5, right? Like that's the beauty of the sport as well. But like. The
bikes are designed to the tires mechanically, right?
Yeah.
And now you're adding in the aero on top of it. But if the tire isn't built like who in their right world or mind will go to Michelin and say, show your 25 tire, just say your 2025 tire that your King Tony is developing. How much downforce can that take?
Yeah.
On the run? And they say 5 kilos. And the likes of Ducati and KTM, who have absolutely fucking killer engines, will now say, well, our calculations, we can keep the same top speed, but have 8 kilos downforce on the front.
Right.
Of course, they're going to go with 8 kilos, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? It's going to help them brake later into the corners. And handle that. So, of course, they're going to do this. But the tire can't fucking handle it, so they're going to find themselves either running a harder or a stiffer version.
I think that's why KTM was having such a problem with the new carcass that they came out with last year, right? And you saw all the really good rain riders not care, no complaints, But that's funny. I actually just learned something. That's probably exactly what went on, right? You build a bike for XYZ, and then when you get the tire's ABC. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Iker Lecuona. I still think this is fucking amazing that he won he didn't just win it. Like his team won it, the Suzuka 8 Hours, and the Suzuka 8 Hours for any Japanese, as you call them, Jake's manufacturer, is the fucking absolute.
Dude, that's a big deal. Yeah.
No,
that's a Super Bowl. That's a Lombardi trophy for bikes.
Yeah,
and they pulled him from it.
That was so stupid.
I think it's stupid.
And that poor kid, his luck, Matt, that poor kid is probably now not going to get the Suzuka trophy he was probably going to get. And then probably just some dumb shit's going to happen on the ride that he's missing out for it on. You know what I mean? Because that kid's got shit luck, dude.
He does, but I seriously think
what happened to Lecuona?
They pulled him from the Suzuka 8 Hours to ride the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. Right? And that's an important race for Honda to win. So when I looked at it, I was like going, okay, realistically, the British Grand Prix in Silverstone is not really a big race.
It's not a fucking big deal. No.
They would send Bradley. Do you know what I mean? To do Silverstone, try and put your best foot forward for the Suzuka race. And I was like, so I was a bit caught. So
especially because he's been riding the Fireblade all year, right? And doing really well in World.
He's riding his ass off. That kid is.
Right. Oh yeah, no, let's yank him out. Let's yank him out the way. But I hope to God for his sake, because me and Mac were actually messaging a little bit about the EK Lecuona thing, right? And I just hope to God that kid gets another chance at MotoGP, because you can tell when they put the video out of him signing the thing with the first time he substitute for somebody, that kid was so excited, you know, and he took it like a real champ stepping down a World Superbike, because he said, you know what, I know I'm going to have to get used to this new race format, but I'm going to give it my best. And even fucking Bautista couldn't even do shit on that bike, and EK's doing some shit.
Yeah,
you know?
And look, I'll be very honest. Look, I always get very giddy when I see the number 27 on the track, right? And for me, right, Casey normally he's a whinge about everything, but he's
a gift from God on a bike.
Fuck me. I still believe we were robbed to see Casey Stoner versus
without a doubt. When I see the 27 on
a Repsol Honda, which I think he brought one. Maybe anyway.
Oh shit! I just visualized that. That is going to be pretty cool. Going.
But then when he made his debut all them years ago, it was 500s then, wasn't it? I think in 2006.
I think he was on a 2-stroke for the 250s, but I think he stepped on 4-stroke.
Did he step on?
Yeah.
But he was with LCR, so it's kind of
yes, by Moto 2. Yep.
Yeah. No, he was in LCR when he actually came.
Oh, when he hit, when he hit top.
I just can't remember. Was he on a 500 or was he on a 4-stroker? But when he joined, so seeing the 27 back on an LCR is kind of like a walk.
Right, yeah.
The alley again of memory lane. So
cool.
For me, when I look at it, I genuinely am excited to see the kid back. I personally believe that Honda are evaluating him to step into MotoGP for next season. Yeah. Nakagami, I don't know. I think he could be all right.
I mean, the kid doesn't have broken anything right now, right? So
he doesn't. But like that seat there is specifically for a Japanese
with that. Good. Yep.
So what Japanese rider is going to be around? Like Agora?
No. They're never letting him go. No, they're never letting him go.
Yeah, like Malaysia.
Just like how do you say the Chinese kid's name in Formula One? Like he's never gonna lose it.
Tsunoda?
The Chinese kid in Formula One? Ji Wang Yu. Yeah, he's the Taka of Formula One. He's never gonna lose that seat. No way.
Yeah, but he opens a massive marketplace in China, so
right, exactly.
So he'll sell a lot of T-shirts there.
But Taka's not bad to me though, man, because he doesn't walk around saying the shit don't stink, Like he even said he shared in the thing during the COVID, all those awesome videos coming out from MotoGP. Like even his parents asked him when he's a little kid, like, "Are you sure you want to ride bikes? Because you're not that good, So he at least owns the shit, He doesn't,
good.
Oh, Jack, dude.
I like him. I think.
What's the wrong?
I don't know. Look, I don't think there's anyone there to replace him next season. And I think if Marquez,
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Fuck off. Then I think Mir and Taka. Well, Mir has to stay anyway because Grassini closed the door on him. But I think
how crazy is that we're saying that Repsol colors. People are going, nope. Like, do you know what I mean? In our because I know me personally, I've been watching since 2006. I worked at a pizza place down the street from my house. The cable company in our area just started doing international channels, and we ended up with BT Sport. What it became eventually was BT Sport, right? So that's the first time I saw a MotoGP race, 2006. Mm-hmm. The years of dominance from Honda, and even look at Stoner, right? Yeah, he could win on a Ducati, but he wanted to go to Honda, right? Because of their professionalism, they're a race-ready team. Like as and shitty bike or not, Suzuki properly race-ready team. Like they're efficient, and it's just so crazy that people are going, no, I want to get on the satellite bike. It's like what, If I were to say this to my 25-year-old self, I'd be like, "There's no way, nope, there's no way."
Because there was always the rider, the Honda, and they always picked out the best riders. They lived off of having the best rider and forgetting about the bike.
And look,
but I mean, let's really be honest, right? Because even before the V5, when they switched to the 4-strokes, every awesome bike on the grid 2-stroke wise has been a Honda since '88. You know what I mean? And everybody's flipping out that they're having a shitty couple years. They've been on top for decades. We're talking decades, not a year or two, decades.
Right. Yeah, but in the last decade, since the 2000s, the last one they had was the 211, the V5, right? When they get into the 4-strokes, they've lived off of having past the V5. The V5 is a good bike, but past that, the bike sucked, and they were relying on the rider.
Well, no, look, I won't say the bike completely sucked, right? But they had two aliens always on those bikes.
Without a doubt, yeah. Pedrosa, and then remember Stoner came on.
And Pedrosa had that bike not as...
Pedrosa's a damn good bike developer, dude, because, KTM gives all the credit to him for that.
Pedrosa was not on Mark's or Casey's level. Being very honest. He was an alien, but he wasn't. But he backs up my theory, though, of if you have a good number 2 rider that develops the bike to a certain point, And then you give it to a fucking true alien.
Yes, you're golden. You are golden.
And that's what
you are golden,
did, right?
And that's the problem. Sorry.
I did a video months ago about pinpointing exactly when Honda went down.
Right.
And I think it was
once they signed Brattle as a development rider. No, I'm joking.
No. But I actually pinpointed through the whole championships of where the number 2 rider finished. I think it was like 2018, and you could see the slope down. And when the gap began to grow between the first rider and the second rider, that's when the Marquez factor, I'll call it, was in full swing.
Right? And then
he was now riding a bike that was
stagnant. It was stagnant.
Instead of pushing that bike 5/10 forward, Marquez was keeping that bike just about level and letting his riding talent and his fuck you, I'm going to leave off the brakes. Aggressive riding finish.
Winter crash.
Right? And
winter crash.
So for me, when I look at that, that's the way I see it. I think with the Japanese, and like we said this a good few times, I just genuinely believe that there's 2 problems. There was one that they were relying on aliens, all factories.
Right. Yeah.
Like Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, all looking for that alien to make up the but they were asleep. I
was just about to say they got caught sleeping with this.
When you do that, you don't have to be on your ball.
Correct. You don't have to stay on point. Like, Yamaha, right before Rossi, right? Like they were having the worst year ever, right? And those dudes just put their nose to the grindstone and made an awesome bike, which Quadraro was an idiot. Like, give me more top speed. Yeah, let's throw off the whole balance of the bike just so you can go a little faster. But besides that, they really put their nose to the grindstone and they got it done. On this one, and what I like that you shared during the concession drama, Ducati had to eat shit for a while, right? And the Japanese, this whole time, I've known they weren't going to accept concessions because, dude, they're way too prideful. But the bike that they're going to create after this season, I feel like, is going to go down as you know what I'm saying?
I worked
in proper Japanese style.
I worked in China for a while, right? And it's kind of. They have very.
Hey, that's racist.
Similar,
no, I'm joking.
The Japanese and the Chinese have very similar mannerisms, right, in a professional capacity, right?
Right.
And I remember I was there and I was teaching these guys I was actually the person in the room teaching people, but I had the lowest level of education.
Right.
In the fucking room, they all had master degrees in fucking English and right. Here's a fucking dope from Ireland all the way over in Beijing, fucking trying to teach these guys, right? And I remember when we were teaching, there was another person teaching with me, but after the first 2 days or so, I really noticed that there was no questions. So when you're teaching something, you try and have open dialogue.
Yes, no such thing.
And everyone was like, "Is this clear?" No one would say, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I turned around.
They probably would never dare to, right?
Right. And I just said, listen, at the end of the class, our second day, I was like, this is not right at all because there should be fucking hundreds of questions.
Right.
So, yeah. And I said, and I swear to God, I'm going to put a box here and we're going to leave and go for lunch or for thing.
Smart.
And
no shame in it. Just drop.
And what we will do the next day is that we will come in and we will read out the questions.
Right.
That we have.
Yeah.
Well, fuck me anyway. There was only about 15 people in the class, and we came back the next day, and there was about 50 questions.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just like, all right. Right?
Pride,
and little did they know, right, that when we were opening and reading the question, we were scanning the room, and so we knew the fucker that was after writing it because they were the one that you would answer, you wrote your question, Corey. Next to it, I'd say, oh, so here we have a question now. So you would fucking perk up and go so,
yeah, right, yeah.
Ding. So then after that, then I went away and I brought the company that I was working with, obviously is a new company over there, but I brought some swag over from my company over to me. So I started then putting fucking things of whoever starts putting up their hand and asking questions, and whoever
gets a t-shirt,
questions gets a fucking t-shirt or a lanyard or fucking water bottle or fucking whatever. And so they're fucking so all getting you. But and it's I genuinely believe that that's the same mentality within Honda. It's just like the boss tells them, make bike faster, right?
Right.
Bike is made faster.
Yeah.
It didn't say make it go around the corner faster. You know what I mean?
No.
It's faster in a straight line, or it's faster in
They don't innovate. The Japanese don't innovate. They copy, and then they got to improve it. They got to refine it. But if they're horrible at making new things.
But I think, Jake, being very honest, I have not seen a motor manufacturer in this world not copy people.
Correct.
I know, but somewhere along the line, I know what you're saying, but somewhere along the line, somebody has to make the original one. Okay, I'll give you that's where the Europeans and the Germans and the Italians come in, and the English are very strong. That's what the Japanese lack.
I mean, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I just still think, like, so I'll give you an example. I drive a few electric cars around the place, right?
Ooh,
and the Volkswagen ID4 has a binnacle in it, right? And I got into a Skoda Enyaq, and it's the exact same fucking binnacle where you show your things there, but it's hidden in a different leather pouch, right? whereas the one on the ID4 is like it's just out, but it's the exact same thing. The functions, everything is the fun, and I just like. Okay, now Skoda is a part of the Volkswagen group, right? So they're sharing parts and sharing.
Right. So is the
then realistically, when I was going down to it, like the battery is the same, the drivetrain is the same. It's just the body. So look, like that.
But to give kudos to give kudos to the I don't know if we call them. Do we call it Japanese Asian? No, right? Because they're Japanese. But to give them their kudos. To give them their kudos, you know, like changing the firing order in the 90s with the 2 strokes, like that was dope. Doing the V5, that was dope. Like,
but even with what Crafar told us, remember about his exhaust, when it was crushed, no use to anyone, and they wouldn't give it to him in case someone got a hold of it. Like there were the Japanese for the 500s and all of this, they were absolutely brilliant. Seeing the shift gearbox, it was a copy, but. I can guarantee you that was paid for by Honda dollars to develop that. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Where I look at it is that they were just asleep at the wheel. They're now. It's an engineering problem that they have.
Yes.
Both. It's a personnel problem in Honda.
Let me say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That you can't have that in racing. Racing is not.
Yes.
You have to say no. Yeah. We got to do it better, so therefore we had to make it.
There you go. I'll agree with that.
Ground broken.
Yeah, but
that's where the Japanese are getting killed.
I think.
But Jake's right. That's where they're sleeping right now, and like, I really just hope that they just.
I don't think they're sleeping right now, Corey. I think.
Oh yeah, right.
I think
they've been smacked awake by now.
I think
at least they should copy. They should just change over. If they want to have them Japanese, have the Germans make it and have them copy it. Contract them all out.
So there was a phenomenon called the pink Mercedes. I don't know if you ever heard
of this. Yes.
And it was Formula One, right? Where
Racing Point.
Where you're not allowed copy or reverse engineer other people's aerodynamics, chassis, whatever, right? But they did.
Yeah. They made a rule because
I'll show you the 2 cars. So they literally copy the aerodynamics
to the T
of the previous year's winning Mercedes. Now they were running a Mercedes engine. They were running a Mercedes engine, gearbox, and suspension, right, for the rear of the car. So all they had to build was the fucking front tub bit and their front suspension, right? But they
couldn't even do that.
But they couldn't stay near, like they were still a midfield car.
Because
the whole fundamental problem is that they copied it, but they didn't understand what they were doing. They didn't understand the key fundamental parts of the car. They knew that this wing was 2.5 millimeters. It stuck up at a 32-degree angle and whatever.
Yes.
But they didn't know why.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they had to have
they knew the form.
Throw them all off.
Right. They knew the form, not the function, you know?
Exactly.
And if you don't know the function at the end of the day, you can't do any homework on it.
That's what Honda... Now, I will praise Honda this year more than I praise Yamaha because at least they're fucking trying.
Okay.
They're copying people. they're trying to outsourcing things. They're not getting it right. Don't get me wrong, right? They're not getting it right, but they're trying. Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you remember when Crafar, when the KTM showed up like 2 years ago to the first test day, and Simon Crafar was like, over at the KTM garage, I've got to be honest, they didn't bring a bike that was up to par because it was literally they built a Honda with this said, you know what I mean? So it makes me laugh.
They hired all the engineers, the Honda engineers.
Right.
Right. You have a story behind that too. You didn't hear on stage. They hired them, and then they turned around and did all the KTM hired all the Honda engineers, and they said, "Oh my God, they're incompetent," and fired them right afterwards. And then Honda rehired them again. That's the problem. It has to also up their game with the engineers they're hiring instead of getting the bottom of the barrel ones that are making
right.
You need to go to their MotoGP ones and get their best engineers instead of their MotoGP is a redheaded stepchild. They're not in
I'll give you
cars,
that.
You know what I mean? Like they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're a Formula One company,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing, they say like hard times make, strong men or whatever. Being 34, the generation that, that age group of engineers that, Rossi had at his hands, right? Those are all post World War II wanted to be airplane engineers. You know what I'm saying? So like they, you know what I mean? They got that was the cream of the crop, as they say, right? Because they couldn't build planes. So it's like, all right, I guess we're at bikes, right? And like, could you imagine the audacity? Like, and that's what pisses me off a little bit about Fabio, because it's like Rossi made that bike so well that Lorenzo could win on it. Ben Spies did great on it, even though it was the satellite bike by then, right? And like literally, when you got a company that they changed their firing order just for you, like you got different tire wear, you're really asking for more feeling during your braking, like all that shit. Like he had that at his hands, I think the level of engineer, right? Like because there hasn't been really like hard times to create, the creativity, the driven, mindset that's needed to like, okay, I got to get this, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like they're softer engineers. They're not, I'm not one, so I can't talk shit, but do you know what I mean? Like,
well, look,
does that make sense? Does that make sense? Or
it does in a couple of ways, but look, I think there's a fundamental shift that's happened in MotoGP from, in my view, from probably 2007 on, right? Maybe 2008. And what has now become thing is, firstly, is understanding tires. When the Bridgestone Michelin war was
going on,
that changed the landscape of everything. And like what you mentioned about Rossi, when he switched from the Michelin to Bridgestone halfway through a season.
Yep.
That was not necessarily re-engineering a bike. That was that the tires were much better, right? So but where we've got to now from that point of view, where it's gone away from the pure engineering of it, and it's now starts with the black things on the ground, right? So every bike is built to that black thing.
Right.
But that would bring us up to around 2015, 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the whole game again changed for me, and that is you now had the black things on the ground, which is still built around.
Yep.
But then you now also have the wings on the side of the bike pushing the bike left or right or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you have the mechanical aspects of the bike. Yeah. But what's happened for me when I look at Japan is that they were stuck in the vibe of the 2015 change.
Yes.
So we were like, or so that they do think about aero, but aero is the last step of it. When like more so to say, how would I say, more so to put it in the way of like, we need to bolt on wings. Where are we going to bolt them on? Okay, now let's build the fairings and then let's go to the wind tunnel. Where Ducati were already starting to leverage. Yeah. Okay, we know our engine. We can. So like let's just say, for example, we know we have 10 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour down the end of the straight
on top of everybody else.
So let's take off 5 miles an hour and put a front wing on the front of it. It's not going to affect anyone from catching us, but it's going to help us. So their philosophy was massively different to the Japanese. Mm-hmm. And you can see it with the whole engineering of it now is that it's a machine. And each section is a cog in that machine. Whereas with my view with the Japanese, it's that it's the tires and the chassis, and then we'll think about the aerodynamics after.
Right, correct.
Whereas if you look at what's happening with Ducati or Aprilia or KTM, they're saying, okay, we reckon we're going to need to put downforce here, and here. Mm-hmm. We know our engine can push just say 15 points of downforce. So what we're going to need to do, we have to make maybe a 2% increase in the engine to push the X on the downforce. Right. If we put that 2% onto the engine, we're going to have to change our chassis to in line with the tires. If the tires are stiff, or more stiff or whatever. And it's funny when I talk about the tires of being stiffer for the downforce and all of this, especially with electric cars, because electric car tires are incredibly stiff, the carcass and the sidewall of the tires, much more stiffer than a normal road car.
Because of the weight of the batteries and all that?
Because of the weight.
Mm-hmm. And so it's more of a solid weight, right? It's a solid weight. You have a 600 kilo battery, just say, underneath your car, right? So basically, like if you put 100 liters of fuel into your car and an engine or whatever, it still wouldn't be up to the 600 or 700 kilos of the battery. Right. Do you know what I mean? And the motors or whatever. So when you look at it, to deal with the weight, the tires and the sidewalls of the tires are stiffer in electric. Everything has to compensate, right?
So exactly. So when you come back to building a bike to the current regulations, you're like, there is so much now at play. There's the EV air. Yeah. So and this is my view of where the Japanese are struggling. Like Yamaha came out and openly admitted, and I think it's fucking brilliant. We know shit about aerodynamics.
Right.
So like they're openly. I mean, Honda knows shit about aerodynamics, but they're trying at least, right? Which I'll give them. But the second most vital part of it is that it is not the Honda, Yamaha, or Japanese way to develop while racing. So I'll give you a prime example of that would be the Stegosaurus wings, right? When Ducati put those out at the British Grand Prix last year, they were unpainted and they were held on by fucking what are they, like rivets?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a mentality: if they fall off and break, we'll bolt on another set and we'll go again.
Yeah.
And that's whereas if that was with Honda or Yamaha,
they wouldn't dare, right? They wouldn't.
It took them 3 months to do it. Do you know what I mean? And I look at it and I'm like, there is your problem. If you're not willing to go out and put a little bit on the line to say you know, like if it falls off, it fucking falls off. It's racing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like as a racer myself, I don't know how many times duct tape and tie wraps fucking held my bike.
It's an essential.
Whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's and okay, you're at a professional level, but realistically, at the point of where those Stegosaurus wings are, just say as an example, the only person they're going to hurt is the person behind you.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting back with the innovation. The Europeans will go knock it out. They'll have 3 or 4 things done before the Japanese are even trying it.
But that's a culture. Do you know what I mean? That's a culture of everything has to be.
Wow, I really just learned something on that one.
You know,
everything has to be over-tested, everything. Make sure that And I think that's where things will fall down. Still, I suppose you could be in KTM's predicament right now. So, okay, Marquez apparently is going. I don't know how true it is, but apparently everyone is pointing to saying it's a done deal. He's going to go, right?
I thought it was.
Is Repsol going too? I just don't see Repsol giving up their span. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but they're signed on. So unless they'll give it, but everyone's saying that Mark will go to KTM. KTM don't have fucking a seat for him. You know,
We'll find one somehow. I would.
No, they just got shot down for doing the extra 2 bike thing, right? Didn't Dorna say no to the extra?
Yeah, Dorna said no. Like, which it's a bit of a silly thing for me because look, my 2 cents in this is that there's no manufacturer going to come in the next 3 years.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
With a reg change, no manufacturer is going to come in. You know, they're willing to take it for 3 years, and that's it. That solves a massive problem for them because look, 3 years' time, Polo Spagro will definitely be gone. I think Jack will be on the cusp of going, and they'll be back down to 4 anyway, right? And Mark has probably 2-3 years left in them as well. So, but right now they have 5 riders and 4 seats.
5 riders, 4 bikes, right? Yeah.
So
what's to say though they can't take Spagro, buy his contract out, and then put Marquez there?
But why renew?
Because you still got Augusto Fernandez sitting there. What are you going to do with him?
They just re-signed him. They just re-signed him.
Yep.
So like, if there was any doubt,
Jake's saying Mark immediately taking Pole's spot. So then where does Acosta go? Because Acosta's coming next year.
But
still 5 riders, 4 seats.
But that's my point. And this is where it is, right? They are in. Even before, leave Marquez out of it for now, right?
Yeah.
They took Acosta, and they also signed Augusto Fernandez's contract extension within the same week. So why would they do that? Why would they even dream of unless they were very sure of something?
Something good, yep. Something we don't know, right?
Because like KTM are not fucking stupid with money, right?
No,
they're very sensible with their money. They have a good amount of it. They're not just going to spend it willy-nilly, right? I personally believe that they signed Acosta because I reckon they're very unsure of Polo Spagro. I genuinely believe that. Now he's got his race pass or his race fitness test to do, or I think he has done it now, but he will race at the British Grand Prix. I think they will give him 3 or 4 races to get to and make sure in 3 or 4 races he should be blowing Augusto Fernandez away. And if he's not,
if
he's even level with him, I think that good night, Irene. You're going testing with Danny Pedrosa. Now KTM, and this is the other thing. KTM are up Shit's Creek without a paddle because Danny Pedrosa has developed that bike, and they've signed Jonas Folger also as a development rider. Jonas Folger finished last in every single fucking race this year, right? Danny Pedrosa, I bet he only did 1 race, but he was in the
Doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter. The kid riding by himself's a whole lot. Like, oh my gosh.
And that's where I think KTM's biggest problem and worry is.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Pedrosa only has a couple of years left. They need to find someone that's not an alien.
Right.
That's it. If they can get Polo Spagro back fit and riding,
and then be the right.
You think, but you second.
Do you envision Pole one day taking Pedrosa's spot as a thing?
So.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Because I remember last year, wasn't it? Because Pole at what do you call the one in the Saudi Arabia?
Qatar.
What's the name of that track? Yeah, Qatar, right? All right, that race, right? He was so excited. He was like, "Oh my God, somebody gave me a bike I could win with." Da, 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 da. You know, like it really. Seeing his enthusiasm last year after that first race, I stopped feeling bad for him because his first year on the Repsol Honda, like, I just felt bad for the kid. You seen him with like silver duct tape on his boot and shit. Like he couldn't do shit. And then he had Mark treating him like shit inside the garage or whatever. So in my mind, I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like this kid's going to make this bike legit. But then seeing his smile when he was back on the KTM, it was just like, oh man. So all I thought, everything, because I would always justify for Pole, like, because, you know, Alicia's season last year, it's like, it justifies his whole career without a doubt. But Pole has yet to have a year like that, right? Like, him getting robbed in Austria, that win, it looked like he was going to win that year. He was on the KTM when, it was like, dude, when you just have shit for luck like that, You know, and then you say that Folger, like, because I feel like all the years of watching MotoGP World Superbike, right, you always see these names that are just like, how come they stick around and others don't, right? And if it's not because they develop a bike or bring good sponsors or whatever it is, like, I really hope that, like, just as a man, that Pole maybe in his head, it's weird saying Pole, not Pole, but I hope Pole in his head, right, like, just already tell yourself that you're leaving the team so that when it happens, it's not whatever. Make the best of the rest of the season that you got.
I believe he has the doubt already. No, okay, look,
he does, right?
Every rider has the doubt after a big crash like he's had, right?
Of course.
But, like...
And that's near death. That's almost like mine. He was like, that was bad, his. You know?
He said that, like, if I'm not fast enough, you know, then and I don't deserve the contract,
I'll walk off. Yeah, I'll step off. Yeah.
You never say that. Never give that fucking inkling. As a normal team rider, it's like giving your teammate a compliment. Never. Like, and like, I don't think Max.
Gotta keep driving. Gotta keep driving him. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't. I think he treated him like a proper fucking teammate. Like, and
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Probably.
Any teammate I ever fucking had, right? Firstly, when we're in the box, you're an absolute prick, and I fucking hate you. Secondly, just know I'm gonna fucking beat you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna beat you fucking badly, so bad. And if you do happen to beat me, you know, a fucking broken clock is right twice a day.
Twice a day.
So don't get fucking carried away with it because it will not continue.
Everybody gets one, right?
And that was my mentality, right? I was in the, like when I was racing go-karts or bikes, like go-karts, I'd be in a fucking tent with 5 people. That's 5 fucking enemies that I have on the track.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm doing my tire pressures, I'm changing the thing. I'm like,
friends are for dinner, not the racetrack, you know?
Do you know what I mean? Like, and no one, like, this is how bad and anal I used to get in it, right? So like your sprockets on the back of the go-karts, right? Obviously they're all gold, right? But I used to shave off the number to say how many teeth were on it, right? And I knew
so everybody else couldn't know.
Couldn't know. But I had different colors of spray paint. So like I might have black, blue, yellow, green.
Oh, that'll fuck somebody's head up, dude.
So I would put that on. So like I knew how many teeth were on it. So when I was selecting the change, I knew which one to put on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't written down anywhere. The only person who knew what it was myself. Do you know what I mean? So
your teammates dude, why's he got that sprocket? What the fuck? How come I don't got right?
So they could take a fucking picture of my sprocket to try and see what the number was that was shaved off. So they could only say he's running the green sprocket. So if they really wanted to find out, they had to come and fucking count them. And bitch, if you came to the back of my count my thing, you were getting a knee straight into the fucking mouth, like. Do you know what I mean? So like,
we are not at a picnic. This is a racetrack.
Exactly. Like, we're not here to be fucking friends, right? I'm here to kick your fucking ass. Like, do you know what I mean? I should have been in the UFC if I could take a fucking punch. Right? I have great mentality on it, right? But no, look, that's the way I see things, and I personally I just don't know whether Pole is going to be the same again.
I don't think so, man.
I think
Young Buck as a teammate, right? Like,
it's now you start saying
Jesus. And I think, and this sounds fucking terrible. I think KTM already have the development team that they want in the way they have.
They got somebody. I wrote it down to ask you.
They have Jack Miller. They have Brad Binder, right? In the main team, they have Pedrosa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jack Miller is faster than Pol Espargaro.
Without a doubt, on anything too.
Brad Binder is faster than Pol Espargaro. So the way they're maybe looking at it is Jack will probably be a good test rider as well, but you know they will deal it with Pol as well if they need it. But the whole point of the Tech 2 gas team is to bring up young riders, right. Pol is not a fucking young rider.
He's
been 10 years. Like, Pol Espargaro was supposed to be the next Valentino Rossi.
I remember that, man. I remember that, dude. In Moto 2, people were excited, dude.
You know,
it was Pol was the fast one, not Alexis.
Yeah,
if you remember what years ago.
Aleix
Espargaro. But look, I think for him is just like, I think he's had his chance. I think his thing, and I hope, and you're right. I hope that he turns around early enough and says, this is going to be my last season.
Let me fucking, family at the track, fucking, just At every track you go to, dude, ride like you want it. You know what I mean?
Or else he should start doing my ritual, which is like get on the bike on the left hand side. Just tap the hand.
But if then why not just say do it a bit early, right? Sign Pole off, think of a test rider, and put Marquez in there. For that,
they would never announce that this early. They'd never announce it this early. Do you know what I mean?
Can I say? Go ahead.
I still think KTM will. If Marquez goes over, right, and the reason I said this or say this is right is that someone I think from Dorna came out and said recently that Marquez is still the biggest draw and rider.
Yes, without a doubt. Not even just Spain, everywhere.
If they pull him, right, and this is where I am. They're not going to turn around to KTM and KTM say we don't have any spots.
Yeah, right.
No. They'll be like, 2, we got 4 for you. You know.
Yeah. Does his brother want to ride as well? Does he?
Yeah. Hey, there was a third Rothman's bike with Eddie Lawson, right? Like they make shit happen if they want shit to happen. You know.
Yeah.
And this
Dad
is
can have
where
a
I'm
bike
going with
if
this
you
is
want,
that because Andrea Dovizioso, if you remember,
he was the third Repsol.
He was the third Repsol. So they can do
it. If Marquez can win on that Honda, he can definitely
on anything.
Yeah, right. He's winning on the bottom of the barrel. So,
but something I wrote down, Mac, because of your videos, right? The things that you say, right? Like Marquez is great, but look where we are now, right? Like because he's so amazing, probably problems that could have been fixed 2 years ago aren't fixed because God is on a motorcycle right now, and he's just gonna
Yeah, you need ordinary Joe's hopes on that one, and that's wrong.
And that backs up your 1-2 rider thing, because I hope people understand that, because that is a winning way to do shit, you know.
Yeah, look, if your second rider is a fast rider or is comfortable on his bike to get into the top 5, top 10, consistently, then an alien on that fucking bike will just
is going to just destroy it. Yeah, he's going to kill. He's going to be awesome.
Even further.
Yeah.
Joe and Mir actually as well, himself and his missus had a baby during the week or last week. Fair play to him.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I think it'll be funny now. Like, Joe, is that going to be more of his major problem that he's not getting sleep, or that he knows he's going to go fucking crash the Honda?
Dude, could you imagine that? Yeah, when you made me aware that the whole Kalex chassis thing was, and then Taka coming out saying how they like keep everything just to each rider. Could you imagine, dude? Like, you just broke your tib and fib, and like they're not even throwing an exhaust at you to try out. And I hope they really eat shit with the Silverstone thing, because, like, okay, if Rins won at Coda, which he's won on the Suzuki, that's your best bet for anything to happen at Silverstone.
The best bet for Honda to win another race this season was Saxton, right?
Yeah, and we saw what happened.
That went fucking sideways.
Yeah, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag on that one.
100%. You know?
And then, dude, you are the only one that pointed out that was some real scumbag shit. Let me just launch my fucking bike at somebody, and you don't even, not even a no. You know, like at least fucking Top Gun and fucking Benyaya like shook hands off the scooter after their thing. You just almost fucking killed somebody.
Yeah,
and you tell me sprint back to my bike. Let me go get the other one.
Look, to be fair, look, he didn't, but like he was.
In the
put
moment,
it this way, right? If you're a prick and I hit you in the face, right, and we have a fight over it, right, I won't be sorry for calling you a prick and hitting you in the face.
Right.
However, if I fell over and I knocked you over, I would apologize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't intentionally mean to do it. I would apologize, and I think seeing a fellow rider, even though that
fault or not, dude, have you not? And I understand you're in the zone, it's kill or be kill or whatever, but dude, like that was some.
Yeah.
And they were saying, right? 44 Teeth, one of my favorite YouTube things. 44 Teeth, they're English guys, right? They were saying that, like, and I never knew anybody felt this way, but like, I guess people were just waiting for something like that to happen because, like, the exit lane from the pit and how it is, and they were calling it a Mickey Mouse track, right? Because when you guys say Mickey Mouse, right, you're saying it's like basically just it's kid shit, like it's all right. In New York, we call that dun-dun-dun. So like it's grown past its size now. It's the dun-dun track, kind of like why they stopped going to Laguna. Laguna just couldn't handle it anymore, you know. But
But
I think the Silverstone thing, though. At the Silverstone thing, though, I hope Rin's like healthy or not. I hope he sits there and smiles, going like, "I could have fucking like." I hope he looks at the times and like,
but
"Oh my god."
I think with Rins, I think Honda have missed a massive trick there. You know
Without a doubt.
His riding style, and I actually love it. The fact that he is the only one able to blend the V4 and the inline 4 line.
Yeah.
Besides Bagnaia, and I'm telling you now, in Silverstone, lads, watch Bagnaia's lines.
Yeah. Okay.
He is riding an inline 4 line.
Right. Approach.
And
Yeah.
he's making it fucking work.
Yep.
And that's
holy shit. I actually wrote that down about something, right? Like this whole thing. I feel like if a rider just fucking like somebody like Jorge Martin, right? That kid is such a that almost alien type shit, right? You give that kid any bike, right? Like he's gonna make it happen, right? Like and Mac, you just saying that Bagnaia is like choosing the inline 4 lines or whatever. That's almost like Marquez type shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I think Ducati's being nice, like with the rumor thing, saying like, oh no, whatever. They don't fucking need anybody, dude. They don't need anybody. Like I've been waiting for Jorge Martin to just.
I think they have their aliens for the next 5 years.
They got 3 of them. They got 3 of them. They got Anand, they got Jorge, they got and then they got Bagnaia, right? And then you throw an old dude in the background, right? And now him. Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Where I think this could be quite dangerous is like, I think Bagnaia will go for another couple of years, but I think they'll use the relationship between Bagnaia and Bezzecchi. Then this is just my honest opinion. They'll get Bagnaia to develop Bezzecchi.
Got it.
I think
yes.
Because they're friends, they're close, they're fucking about in Travaglia, they're fucking around in Misano. He's soaking it up like a sponge.
Right, without a doubt.
I genuinely think Jorge Martin is fast.
But he's not Italian.
But he thinks I just think he carries too much lean angle.
He does carry.
Okay.
Right.
You can't have too much lean angle. That's a fallacy. People think the more the better. Yes.
And he's a very V4 rider, right? Which is great.
Yes.
But I think and this is what Rin shows as well, is that there's a blend that you can have between V4 and inline 4 that is actually the best of both worlds. So like you watch Pecco, and I was pointing this out, I think last year I was showing Bezzecchi versus Bagnaia in Argentina, actually. And you could see that Bezzecchi was turning tighter coming out of the corner on the power. But
Bagnaia had more corner speed.
Was just letting it roll out. Maybe just a little foot, maybe a foot and a half wider than him.
Yep, more corner speed.
He was just holding it open.
Yes.
And he was pulling 2-3 tenths of a second every time through that section. But if you look at him now this year, just watch him, how he it's just fucking incredible.
Right.
And he can run those lines because he either gets a good start. He's very he is. In my view, he's improved
with
and
the
matured an awful lot more this year. Bagnaia has than I've seen him. He's
he's a full grown man now. Yeah, he's a full butt champion.
Even when things go to shit, there's no panic. Like on a Friday, Joe, if he's down in 8th or 9th place, I'm sitting there going, he'll start that out by Monday or by Friday or by Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's just like, or if it's like qualifying is on the Saturday or or for the sprint race, like he will have that dialed in, even if he's 2 rows back.
Right,
he will have figured out what exactly he needs to do.
And he came a long way with that, Bagnaia, because he used to be. I remember Bagnaia was horrible. Like he couldn't pick a tire to save his life. Remember we used to joke.
On the Primac days with Jack.
No, when we first started the factory, we used to kid and say he has to put black and yellow tape around it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like fine wine, right? Like fine wine, right?
Don't touch it.
Like it's very like I did a video about him last week, and maybe I don't know did the people get it, but like he's lost maybe 60 points so far this season. Bagnaia has, right?
Yeah.
Through incidents and whatever, right? but put 60 points on to where he is, right? He'd be 100 points clear of anyone.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Right? But also look at, I know we've had, 16 races, you know what I mean, over 8 weekends or whatever it is, right? But he's only crashed 3 times.
When last year that ratio was so much. Yeah, that's not a high ratio.
Last year at this stage, he was at a 50% ratio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like,
dude, coming back from 95 points. I wrote that on a comment once because they said something about him. And I'm like, are you guys forgetting he came back from 95 points? That's some real video game.
We bet.
But you see, that's where, and I remember when I saw this, right?
Uh-huh.
And when he was, it was 91 or 95. And my initial thought went, well, he has fucking nothing to lose now. And that's what made him dangerous.
Yep.
Right? You could see it with Fabio once Bagnaia started to get some momentum.
Yep.
Fabio got what we call in Ireland squeaky bum syndrome. Everything tightened.
Yeah.
Everything fucking tightened. He was riding nervous. He wasn't.
Yes. Yeah.
And he wasn't him. Yes. Fabio now, okay, Yamahas have issues, right? But Fabio now is if Fabio's mentality can go to what Bagnaia's did.
Yes. Right. Who knows? Yeah. Sky's the limit.
Jorge Martin, who's probably the biggest threat to Pecco. If he can put that mentality in there, I fucking nothing to lose. I have my contract started for next year.
Yeah.
I want. Are they really going to let a number 1 sticker go onto
a satellite team? Yeah. I'd like to see it. And hearing his excitement, hearing his excitement. Oh, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
I say, what about Enea, the Bastianini? He had that. What's going on with him? I don't know, because he was always an odd player to begin with.
No, like
how he's going to show up. He could be lightning fast, and he had that odd. I don't know how he would keep those tires fresh.
Right. Towards the end of the race, he would just come alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this year, his season has been fucking destroyed by the crash.
Yeah, it's gone to shit. Yeah.
I would expect him now. Like, his season starts in Silverstone. That's the way I see it now, right? He's had enough time now to rest and recuperate. He needs to be a top 5 rider for the rest of the season.
Right.
Okay, obviously, listen up, have 2 or 3 blemishes on your thing for Joe. Like 4 crashes over the course of the thing. Yeah, say. But, like, he needs to be up there, and he needs to start bringing, like, realistically, Ducati have said that they're going to keep on to him for the 2024 season. However, the biggest fucking question, and we'll finish up with this tonight, is if Jorge Martin, who has signed for Pramac for the 2024 season, fucking sticks it to Pecco and wins the championship, will Ducati leave the number 1, go to Pramac? And that's for everyone to answer.
You know, it's just so funny about this, man. Prior to this, right? Like, I'm like, oh, right, I ran all this stuff down and shit. Like, the casual, awesome conversation of this shit is just so dope, dude. I'm so glad that this exists, that what's going on. Because this is shit I'll try to say to my kid, and he's like, what? You know? My girl's nice enough. She'll be in the living room. Like, oh, you know, like, whatever. But, like, this is cool, man.
Yeah, but, look at it. I go downstairs and I say, oh, I had a great podcast. Oh, good. Yeah. Did you know such and such is leaving some football club to go to another football club? I'm like, all right, yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know I know it. But
you know the deal.
Great to have you on, Corey. We'll definitely do this again. We'll definitely bring you on again for sure. Jakey Poo, how are you?
How you doing, pal? Corey's a good deal. He's the real deal.
Yes,
cool.
Yes. And definitely, man, we will catch up. Make sure you're watching out tomorrow at whatever time.
Without a doubt. Can I make one small community plug to everybody? BSB for American fans, we can live stream it right off the BSB website. We don't have to pay anything. And AMA, American Motorcycle Association, all our Superbike stuff, everything is free and live on YouTube.
It sure is, and do make sure that you work it out. I will say one thing about BSB. It is probably my favorite motorcycle racing series.
Nice. It's been mine for so long, dude. It's been mine for so long.
Will I tell you why? There's no electronics.
No track. Yep.
No traction control, no anti-wheelie. It's the best form of traction
and grown men tracks, dude. Grown man tracks.
Tight, twisted, dirty.
God, they are tight. Jesus Christ. You guys make a track. It doesn't have a straightaway.
What I absolutely love about it is that you can go and meet any rider at any time throughout the weekend. You can walk into the paddock.
You never forget that. Yeah.
And listen, look. Like Peter Hickman, I was up in the Northwest 200. My young fella met him, and myself met him, and I asked him for a photograph with my young fella. And the other way, you're not ready or not prepared to meet these people and whatever. And it took me maybe 30, 40 seconds to get the camera out and whatever. And he just stood there talking away to my young fella. Joe,
oh, sweet, dude.
Yeah. There was no rush, no time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And majority those guys on the grid that race in BSB work Monday to Friday.
Yep.
Shit, do you know what I mean? As in
hanging drywall on Mondays, racing bikes on Sundays.
Exactly, and it's just blue collar, good guys, and look, and as well, their stewards there, I will have to say, are very, very good.
Top notch. Take it serious.
Take it pure serious.
Yeah,
and I think MotoGP could learn an awful lot of lessons.
Without a doubt. And I think that goes for a couple domestic, because even AMA, man, like the level of what they're just on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a spill on the track yesterday during a race, and like if that was if that was somewhere else, it would have gone to shit, But these stewards in these I don't know, you call it domestic, in the domestic superbike things, whether it's British or here, they've done a great job, man.
They have,
and it's pride and quality.
Yeah, and I must get on to Sleepwalker as well, because the Armoy road races were on this weekend as well. Last road race in Ireland for 2023. Dunlop
I'm doing that before I die, dude.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
You got it. Set now.
Yeah, I'm doing that before I die, without a doubt.
Yeah, you have to come to the Northwest. Like realistically, the Northwest 200 and the Isle of Man, they're all on within fucking it's a week or two of each other. So like you'd be coming to Europe for 6 weeks. You got to do both. Like you can't. It's just fucking disrespectful not to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just it's
that's dope,
unbelievable experience. Sit in a wall, have a bag of chips. And it's not even yum, right? Because it's like fucking 20 bikes. Boom.
Oh, sick! Yeah. That's some NASCAR level sound, right?
So you could feel the air pressure change before the bikes get you. Do you know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, and like
that's sick, dude.
If you're taking out your camera, you look up and you'll see the helicopter.
Right. That's your sign, right?
You can see, I have about 30 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and actually, it's like. And then when you're out in the straight, they're all flying past you. It is NASCAR. It's like
that's got to be right. Yeah, like, that's dope, dude. That's dope. So, but my family, my dad's side is originally from Waterford County. Am I saying that right?
Waterford, yeah, it's about an hour away from where I live. Yeah.
So, dude, I've been like, I kind of wish you didn't croak, because I'm like, fuck, do I got a cousin or something over there I can go sit?
Yeah.
Book a ticket, go out to race.
Oh, you do. You should definitely listen. Look, it's not actually that expensive to stay for.
It's the travel that gets you, right?
No, like you'd happen to fly from New York to Ireland there for like $450. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not that expensive. Getting to the Isle of Man is a pain in the hole, all right. But like, realistically, ship your bike over. I think it's $1,000 to ship your bike over. Yeah, you have your transport, fucking grand. It's good.
No way, it's not worth it, right? Yeah.
No, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, before I croak, I'm definitely doing it.
You got to do it. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there for this week.
Awesome.
Race week, videos this week. Maybe not some videos next week. Maybe 2 or 3 videos next week. Let's see how strong it can be to avoid the itch. But
if we miss the videos, I'm sure the community is going to let you know. So,
yeah. Are you dead back? No, I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah. Anyway, right, we'll wrap it up there for this week, guys, and we'll see you all again next week. Ciao for now.
Good show.